Selamat malam. Ketemu lagi ya sama gue ya. Ini dari Bekasi ya katanya ya? Jangan suka ngeluh ya kalau Bekasi panas ya. Bekasi dekat ke Jakarta. Dan kita sering mengeluh. Bekasi, Jakarta macet. Kita pelajari ya. Kenapa Bekasi atau Jakarta macet? Karena banyak mobil. Kenapa banyak mobil? Nah ini. Kenapa banyak mobil? Karena cewek-cewek lebih suka melihat cowok bermobil daripada cowok pakai angkot. Iya kan? Jadi cowok-cowok pada beli mobil, ya jadi macet. Kan kalau kita melihat cowok-cowok turun dari mobil, wes keren. Kalau lihat cowok turun dari angkot, jadinya macet. Jadi kemacetan di Jakarta ini salah siapa? Ya salah cewek. Ya, seperti itu. Tapi cewek-cewek itu memang tadi kan disalahin nggak mau. Cewek itu maunya selalu benar. Ya, selalu benar. Makanya kalau ada dua cewek berantem, gue suka bingung. Ini mana yang benar? Ini kan dua-duanya benar. Dan jangan coba-coba cowok-cowok melerai. Ya kan? Dia jangan berantem. Apa lo urusan lo? Dua-duanya marahin kita. Jadi, kok jadi gue yang salah ya gitu? Jangan dilerai, biarin aja. Lalu gara-gara macet ini, kita jadinya untuk mencapai rumah susah. Padahal rumah ini kalau menurut istilah Inggris, home sweet home. Tapi untuk orang Bekasi, orang Jakarta itu tidak berlaku home sweet home. Karena orang Bekasi atau orang Jakarta lebih suka tinggal di nongkrong di mall. Karena adem, rumahnya nggak ada AC-nya, gerah. Walaupun rumahnya ada AC-nya, males nyalain karena takut tagihan listriknya naik. Ya itu ya, nggak mau rugi gitu. Nongkrongnya di mall. Dan sekarang mall makin banyak, di Bekasi udah makin banyak, di Jakarta makin banyak. Lalu kita mengeluh, harga daging sapi naik, harga cabai naik, kita mengeluh. Kita jangan ngeluh, karena yang bertambah jumlah mall, bukan jumlah peternakan sapi. Itu salah kita sendiri. Lu pernah nggak nanam cabai di rumah? Iya kan? Nggak pernah kan? Lu ya 1-2 orang ini pernah nanam cabai, kalau butuh cabai minta sama dia. Seperti itu. Dan lu tahu, mall-mall dibangunin. Orang-orang lulusan peternakan, lulusan perikanan, lulusan pertanian, malah kerja di bank. Bukan kerja di pertanian atau peternakan. Wajar harga sapi, harga cabai sekarang naik. Ya itu kan seperti lu yang jomblo-jomblo, lu mengeluh. Kenapa sih gue jomblo terus? Lu mengeluh padahal lu nggak pernah nyari. Lu bergaulnya di warnet terus. Ya paling banter lu dapetin penjaga warnet. Lu jangan ngeluh, ya tapi nggak apa-apa, bisa Facebookan gratis ya, nggak apa-apa. Lu jangan mengeluh makanya. Ya, jadi kita harus meningkatkan pertanian kita. Seperti ada satu kasus contoh itu di Brasil dulu. Itu pertanian kopi saking berhasilnya, di Brasil berhasil ya, pertanian kopinya. Kopi itu sampai oversupply, terlalu banyak. Sehingga harganya turun banget. Sehingga waktu itu solusinya oleh pemerintah Brazil itu kopi dibuang-buang ke laut untuk menjaga kestabilan harga. Gitu ya, saking oversupply-nya tuh pertanian kopi saat itu berhasil ya. Ya ini sih gue kasihan sih sama, gue bukan apa-apa, gue kasihan sama lumba-lumba di laut Brazil. Ini kagak bisa tidur nih bertahun-tahun ya. Ya. Tadi bicara home sweet home. Tapi orang Inggris lagi bilang bahwa house is not a home. Ini gue jelasin ya. House itu gedungnya, home itu tempat tinggal. Lu bisa punya rumah sebagai gedung, tapi mungkin lu nggak betah di rumah itu karena mungkin orang tua lu berantem atau misalnya lu dengan adik kakak berantem. Jadi house is not a home. Mana yang penting? Rumahnya atau tempat tinggalnya? Tempat tinggalnya. Seperti office is not working. Lu bisa pergi ke kantor tapi lu nggak kerja. Lu malah main internetan. Yang penting tuh ngantornya atau kerjanya? Kerjanya. Seperti lu yang pelajar, school is not education. Lu pergi ke sekolah, tapi lu nggak belajar, lu nggak pinter. Ya, yang penting itu sekolahnya atau belajarnya? Belajarnya. Jangan STBT, sekolah terus, bodoh tetap. Itu yang terjadi kan? Sebenarnya, gue ini sedih sama Indonesia. Gue sedih sama Indonesia. Kita bahas satu-satu ya. Yang pertama gue sedih sama Indonesia adalah kemarin dari penjara ada yang kabur lagi. Ini gampang banget kabur dari penjara Indonesia. Banyak tahanan yang kabur dari penjara, ini gampang. Jangan-jangan itu kabur dari penjara Indonesia itu lebih gampang dari gua dapetin izin istri keluar rumah. Ya, istri gue tuh ngelebihin kepala penjara gitu. Susah banget gue mau pergi, mau kemana? Buset, galak banget. Ini lebih cocok dia tuh jadi kepala penjara gitu kan. Ini gue yakin kalau istri gue jadi kepala penjara gak ada bakal kabur lagi. Kamu jadi kepala penjara ya, supaya men-solve solusi penjara Indonesia. Woi, dia jadi kepala penjara. Semua tahanan gak ada yang kabur. Gue yang kabur. Enak. Apalagi, gue prihatin dengan televisi Indonesia. Lu perhatikan, sekarang acara yang banyak lu tonton apa? Idol contest, kontes-kontes bakat. Kontes bernyanyi, kontes menari, kontes bakat. Sistemnya eliminasi. Kompetisi, sistemnya eliminasi. Tapi kalau ada yang dieliminasi, yang bertahan ikutan nangis. Ya kan, lu kan pihak yang menang, terus ada yang kalah, lu ikutan nangis, kasihan lu pergi. Ini kompetisi atau apa sih sebenarnya? Lu pernah nonton nggak Barcelona lawan Madrid? Messi mengalahkan Ronaldo. Messinya langsung, Ronaldonya kalah. Messinya, Ronaldo, kasihan kamu kalah ya. Ronaldonya pasti nyolot, lu ngeledek gua ya? Pasti marah kan? Selamat malam, nama gue Semi.
Guy comes all the way from Seattle. Please welcome Yaron Bauman, everyone. Yaron Bauman.
Thanks for coming out and supporting live comedy. I stand before you, ladies and gentlemen, as the world's first and only stand-up economist. My dad told me I was crazy. He said, you can't be a stand-up economist. There's no demand. I am killing. I said, don't worry, Dad. I'm a supply-side economist. I just stand up and let the jokes trickle down. I believe in the Laffer curve. Couple of people. Thank you. I only have a couple of things going for me as a stand-up economist. One of them is low expectations. Low expectations put George Bush in the White House. The other thing I have going for me as a stand-up economist is I can make fun of macroeconomists. You know I'm a real economist because I can make fun of sub-disciplines that are totally indistinguishable to people on the outside. You know, people in Washington make fun of people in Oregon, people in Alabama make fun of people in Mississippi, people in prison make fun of people in graduate school. People are always asking me if I'm afraid of failure. I'm like, afraid of failure? I used to teach introductory microeconomics at 8 o'clock in the morning in Walla Walla, Washington. I have walked through the valley of the shadow of death. I have given lectures on cost-benefit analysis in the valley of the shadow of death. I think that's enough for the economics jokes. You want more economics jokes? Okay, these are some new ones. I'm just working on them, so you have to be patient with me. Okay, these are my knockoffs on Jeff Foxworthy's. You might be a redneck if. These are you might be an economist if. You might be an economist if you've ever tried to pick up somebody in a bank. You might be an economist if you're an expert on money and you dress like a flood victim. This one's my favorite. You might be an economist if you go to a Chinese restaurant and open up the fortune cookie and add at the margin at the end of it. Finally, if you refuse to sell your children because you think they might be worth more later, you might be an economist. I don't know who you people are over here, but I love you. I love you. In honor of the 4th of July, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I would tell a big joke. About the founding fathers. So George Washington and Benjamin Franklin were having a debate about whether there should be a standing army in the United States or whether we should just have like the Army Reserve, and George Washington said we should have a standing army, and Benjamin Franklin rose in opposition and said that he was against it because having a standing army was like having an erect member. Although it provides excellent assurance for domestic tranquility, it creates a temptation for foreign adventures. Truer words were never spoken. It's the summertime, ladies and gentlemen. That means that our president is probably reading again. I'm delighted that he's a reader. I'm just disappointed he's not more of an understander. And I'm terrified that he's the decider. I think you ought to read more. I think you ought to talk to people more too, like people across the political spectrum. I think everybody should do that. You know what, to fix American democracy, here's what I think we ought to do. All the young single people, go and date somebody on the other side of the political spectrum. Right? That goes for everybody. If you're a Democrat, go date a Republican. If you support the Green Party, go date a Libertarian. Right? I mean, I know for some of you it's a challenge. If you're a Democrat and you're gay, there just aren't that many congressional Republicans left. You might have to try the evangelical pastors. I am allowed to tell that joke. Because I dated a Republican. She was a good kind of Republican, though, like Rudy Giuliani, you know? She was fiscally conservative and socially promiscuous. She was a lot hotter than Rudy, though. Here's what I'm going to do. For the rest of the time I have left, for the rest of the evening, you folks over here, I'm going to divide you up across the political spectrum. You folks over here, from here on over, you guys for the rest of the night, you guys are the left wing. That was an appropriate amount of enthusiasm for the left wing. Look, I know you guys are disappointed. You've had a couple of bad years, but wait until 2008 when the Democrats take back the White House, because then you'll be really disappointed. Let's try this again. You guys over here, you guys are the left wing. Not bad, but watch this. You guys over here, for the rest of the night, you guys are the right wing. Look, that was okay, but when I did this in Texas last week, they started chanting USA. It was really the most amazing experience of my life. So I want you guys to do that for me. Like, dig down. You guys up front here, you weren't chanting. Dig down and find your inner red meat, okay? Put yourselves in the mind frames of people that believe in social Darwinism, but don't believe in Darwin's theory of evolution. All right? On the count of three, I want to chant at USA. You guys over here, you guys are my right wing. USA! 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 Good, that was much better, much better. And you guys on the left wing, you guys were perfect. Because while they were chanting USA, you were just sitting there looking befuddled. Vaguely unpatriotic. I don't know how that happens. It's not just the left and the right, though. Like, on the far extremes of the political spectrum, like on the far right of the political spectrum, you folks at this table right here, you guys are my libertarians. And on the far left of the political spectrum, you folks here, you guys are the libertarians. Did you guys get that? Libertarians. Not the people that check books out for you. You know what, sir? I don't think you're a libertarian. You know what you are? You're a swing voter, sir. You're one of those people, you're clueless, you're apathetic, and every 4 years you determine the fate of the free world. This man right here, ladies and gentlemen, this man is the idiot savant of democracy. Give him a round of applause. Let me close with a joke that's going to appeal to people across the political spectrum. So, Nixon, Ford, and Carter all die, go to the afterworld, they end up in a big white room. This big voice booms out, it says, President Nixon, go into the room on your left. And Nixon goes into the room on his left, and there's Charles Manson. And the voice booms out, it says, President Nixon, you've sinned, you must spend eternity with Charles Manson. The voice says, President Ford, go into the room on your right. And Ford goes into the room on his right, and there's Jeffrey Dahmer. The voice says, President Ford, you have sinned, you must spend eternity with Jeffrey Dahmer. The voice says, President Carter, go into the room in front of you. And Carter goes into the room in front of him, and there's Paris Hilton. The voice says, Paris Hilton, you have sinned. Hey, my name is Jerome Bellman. You guys have been awesome.
All right, check out his website, standupeconomist.com.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kenalin nih, gua adalah juru masak, kokinya Pak Mami. Ceritanya hari ini didandanin jadi koki. Saya adalah seorang koki, kalian bisa manggil saya Chef Juna. Junaidi. Lengkapnya Junaidi Purwoto. Ini jangan salah, jangan salah. Saya ini biarpun ganteng, biarpun saya ganteng, saya ini dulu pernah jadi juri di acara masak-memasak. Nih, Master Shake, spesialis makanan-makanan kocok. Beda ini acara Master Shake ini beda sama acara masak-memasak di TV sebelah. Tahu kan? Yang jurinya galak-galak. Pokoknya yang pesertanya dimarahin, itu kasihan loh pesertanya. Sama jurinya dimarahin. Padahal nggak salah apa-apa. Jurinya pasti gini. Wah, ini sup apaan? Rasa lada semuanya nggak keluar, nggak ada rasanya nih. Pak, itu bukan sup, Pak. Itu air kobokan. Udah gitu kobokan kaki lagi. Tapi kalau kita ngomongin makanan identik dengan bulan puasa. Nih, gue aneh nih. Justru di bulan puasa makin banyak orang yang sering marah-marah, iya nggak? Contohnya kita pulang kantor, ngejar buru-buru buat buka puasa di rumah. Akhirnya di jalan marah-marah. Ngelihat ada angkot ngetem lama, diklakson, tintin, buruan woi. Ada ojek lama diklakson, tintin. Sampai lampu merah lama diklakson, woi, hijau dong lo. Parah kan? Makanya kita kalau ibadah itu harus ikhlas. Kalau kita ikhlas kita jadi nggak khawatir. Sekarang kita kalau sholat di masjid aja sendal jepit dititipin. Itu mending sendalnya bagus, sendal jepit lagi. Udah gitu kanan dua-duanya lagi. Yang mau nyolong juga siapa? Kecuali kalau malingnya pakai sendal kiri semua. Itu nggak. Gua pernah pengalaman sepatu gua hilang di tempat penitipan sendal. Sepatu gua pernah hilang di tempat penitipan sendal. Gua kan komplain, Pak, ini kenapa sepatu saya bisa hilang? Sorry mas, di luar sendal, bukan tanggung jawab kami. Ini kan berarti penjaganya nggak amanah. Makanya hati-hati nih. Pak Mami kemarin nyalonin diri jadi camat gagal. Ini contoh pemimpin yang tidak amanah. Kalau kita milih pemimpin negara, itu harus amanah. Nah, kalau cari pemimpin keluarga, itu harus fatonah. Selamat malam, saya Ji Purwoto.